We there? Okay, folks, welcome back. Or welcome if you've not been. Right, I'm Jenny, and Anthea and Lily are going to join us as well, as usual. So, just for a difference, we've done some stretching sessions the last couple of Thursday evenings, but just to make it a little bit more dynamic and just a little bit different, and we're 8 weeks into this current situation, so why not do a little bit more of a slower, controlled, stretching, strengthening class. So I am a Pilates teacher, I am not a yoga teacher, so I'm going to put that as a precursor. These are going to be yoga-inspired moves, okay? If you are a yogi, then you will do them far better than I. I'm going to make no apologies for my down dog. I'm a tennis and lacrosse player. My down dog is suffering from tennis and lacrosse life. Okay, but it's a lot better than it was. So, just go with us tonight. Just do what you can. I've written a little session. It'll take about half an hour-ish, maybe 35 minutes, I don't know. Just do what you can. Join in as much as you are able. So, hopefully you've got a bit of space. So I've got my yoga mat out, my Pilates mat out. So I've got a little bit more room, because you will need kind of the length of you, if you like. But let's just begin. So we're going to stand in mountain posture to begin with. So feet a little bit narrower than your hips, but spread your toes and spread your weight across your feet. Oh, if you've got your trainers on, take them off. Be in your socks or bare feet, preferably. Stand nice and tall, open out across your shoulders. Feel long and tall. Extend your fingertips down towards the floor. Make sure you're evenly weighted through the balls of your feet on either side of you through the ground. And just take a few slow and deep breaths here. We're just all recovering from the previous session, so this is good just for a moment. What we're going to do next is just kind of shrug our shoulders and loosen up a few of our joints. So give your shoulders a shrug and let go. Come up again and let go. Step your feet to shoulder width, a little bit wider than before, and then roll your shoulders round and go back the other direction. Good. And then stand on one leg and just kick through your knee. Good. And then roll through your ankle, one way then the other. And the same with the other side. Just kick through your knee, nice and easy if your balance is any good. And then roll through your ankle one way and then the other. Okay, we're going to do a series of sun salutations. So come to the top of your mat. I'm going to do it sideways. Yeah, if you want to do it, that's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to do it side on, just hopefully you can see better. So come to the top end of your mat. Yeah, it doesn't matter which way for you, Lily. And then lift up. And then take your arms out wide. Come down into a forward fold, touch the floor, and then lift up halfway. Bring your hands to your shins and try and flatten out through your back. So don't be rounded, lengthen there. Fold forward again, bend your knees a lot the first time. Step back with your right leg into a lunge, followed by your left, and hold your plank. Drop your chest towards the floor and push through into an up dog position. So untuck your feet, join the flaps of your feet and lift. Retuck your feet and push back into a down dog. So your heels are aiming towards the floor, your fingertips are spread, your hips are going high, and try and flatten out through your back better than I can. Good. Then lunge your right leg through and then the other. You might need to give it a shove. Okay, sweep up with the arms and down. We're just simply going to repeat that pattern. So lift up with the arms, dive and fold forwards. Hands to the floor. Half lift, flatten out through your back, hands to your shins. Fold forward again. You step back with your left leg this time. Lunge back and then the right. Come into high plank. Then bend through your elbows. If you need to, drop to your knees as you push through into your up dog. So tuck your feet over, that's it, good. And then retuck your feet. Push back into down dog. Readjust the position of your feet if you need. Hips are high, hands are spread. Lunge that left leg through. And followed by the right. Rise. We're going to do that again. I'm quite warm already. Okay. Lift up, dive and fold forwards. Hands to the floor. Half lift, flatten through your back.
Fold forwards again, right leg lunges again, followed by your left into that plank. Come down and then into that up dog position. We good? Thighs off the floor. Yeah, good. And then back into down dog. Straighten out through that back. Try and push your heels down, your hips up. And then lunge back through your right and then your left. Lift. And down you go. One more time. Arms sweep up. And then dive and fold forwards. Hands to the floor. Hands onto your shins. Flatten out through your back. Hands back down to the mat. Left leg lunges. And your right come into plank. Bend your elbows and push through into up dog. And then back into down dog. Push those hips high. Straighten out through those arms. Flatten out through that back. Push up on the elbows and down on the heels. And then left leg lunges through. And then the right. And rise. Okay. We're going to do that again, but we're going to hold in that backwards lunge. So when we come into that position, we're going to stay. Just go with me. So lift up and dive and fold forwards. Hands to the floor, hands to your shins. Now, lunge back with your right leg and then stay and lift into a lunge. So a little bit of balance required. And you can extend your arms up or hold them here or out to the side for balance if you need. We good? Okay, bring your hands down to help you back up and lift. We're going to do the same on the other side. Take a breath, sweep and lift up. Dive and fold forwards, hands to the floor. Half lift to flatten out your back. Bring your hands down and step back into a lunge with your left leg and rise. Bring your hands up above you if you're able, or support yourself with them out wide. How are we doing? Are we good? Bring your hands down to the ground and back in and lift. Okay. We're going to do one more sequence of sun salutation, then we're going to come back into a warrior move. So lift up and dive and fold forwards. Hands to the ground, hands to your shins. Back you come. Okay. Step your left leg back this time. And then I want you to turn your foot out, your back foot, so that your back foot and heel are roughly in line. Then I want you to turn your hips so they're facing over that front knee, so your right knee. Because warrior 2 is round here, we'll do that next. Warrior 1, your hips should be roughly facing forwards. And you can either bring your hands again into prayer position in the middle, or you can extend them overhead. I'm going to keep them down. So I want you to press into that back foot and sit down into there. So your front heel and your back heel are both pushing into the floor. If you don't take your socks off, that might be a good idea as well. Good, hold there. Okay, soften your knees and bring yourself back up. And we're simply going to swap sides. So put the other foot back. Check the position of your feet. So the middle of your foot and your heel on the front leg should be roughly in line. So if a line from your heel through to your arch would be in line, and then sink down. Hands to prayer position or hands up to the ceiling. I'm quite warm. How are you guys? Go a bit wide, long. Go back, good. Okay. Again, bring your hands down and bring you back up. Okay. We're going to step out into warrior 2, but we're going to do this from the middle of our mat. So come to the center of your mat and then step your feet a good bit wider than your hips. Slightly turn out your left foot and fully rotate your right, and then sink and lunge into that right leg. So your hips are now facing sideways rather than forwards. Then extend your arms out and look over the front hand. The front hand is the knee that's bent. And try and have your arms roughly level. So some people will be like this or like this. But keep reaching and extending with your arms roughly the same height. You can check us out if we're not. We're about right? Ish. Okay, keep sitting as low as you're able. Keep looking over that front arm. Good. Nice. Bring yourself back up, heel toe back in. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Okay, so reset back in the center.
we're going to do the same warrior two position, but on the other side. So step your feet nice and wide. You might have to walk out a little bit. Turn your left foot out. Check it's in line with the arch of your back foot. Slightly turn out your back heel and then sink and sit down into that lunge in that warrior two position. So hips facing this way. Try and encourage that front knee to track over your toe and hands are extended, and then look forward over that front hand, so the bent knee hand. Keep pushing into that back heel, keep that back leg straight, and keep this front knee aiming over that front toe. Good. Hold there for a moment longer, and then push into that front leg to bring you back up and in. Okay, we all right? Okay. We're going to do a lunge with a twist back. So we're going to, again, lunge. So go back to that first side. So sit into that lunge and reach forwards. Now I want you to extend down the back leg and reach up and behind you. So get a stretch through the front of your torso and reach up and behind you. So reach and hold. Good. And then come down. Just simply turn to the other side. I'm quite hot. Should have put my yoga trousers on. And then lunge and reach up and behind you. Good. How's your muscles? Are they shouting at you? Or are they fine? Fine, totally fine. Good, down you come and lift up. Okay, last couple of standing things or extending things. We're going to do what you call triangle pose. Again, you have to slightly forgive me really. So as close an approximation as to my body will let me do. So again, we're going to go fairly wide with our starting stance. This one's a little bit trickier to get right. So just be careful. If there's any moves that you think, oh my goodness, no, my body's not going to do that, you can definitely skip them out. So feet a little bit wider than your hips, nice and wide stance. Slightly turn in your left foot, fully rotate your right. Arms out and extended, then reach forwards over your right leg and then dive down into triangle. Ideally you'd have a block here, but we haven't. Or a coffee table, or your shin will do for now. And you're looking to have this top hand directly above the bottom hand. Here's mine fairly straight. So this hand and this hand are roughly in a straight line.
Yes.
Ish. Okay, so you should feel the stretch down the outside of your torso and lots of work going through. I've got no idea what's happening behind me. Should I be worried? No. Okay, bend that front knee to come out of it. And then just heel toe back in. You good? Other way. I'm giving you a rest. So, wide stance again. Turn out your left foot. Slightly turn in your right. And then extend your arms out and away. Reach over that left side and dive down towards that shin. I said ideally you'd have a block, but we ain't got one, so we'll just go with our leg. So keep the top hand extending up and that bottom hand down, and just have your head fairly centered. Be great if we're not doing a reverse triangle, mainly because I can't do them. Good. And then bend that front knee to bring you back out of it. Okay, right, how are we doing? We okay? They're the hard work standing postures done. We're going to do some balancing work standing. So we're going to do chair and tree. We're going to do chair first because that's also a little bit of a strength posture. So feet a little bit narrower than your kind of standard hip width position. I'll show you from the front and I'll show you from the side. So you're going to sit as if you're going back into a chair behind you. Your knees track over your toes. Your bottom sits back and your arms reach up and ahead. So from the side, looks a little bit like this. So feet a little bit narrower, sit back and hold. So your bum is going back and your arms are reaching forwards. Try and have your arms in line with your ears, so they're not forwards of you, or if they do go behind, if you're particularly weirdly bendy. Okay, so come to the centre. As long as you've got some space to move, that's fine. Toes and knees a little bit narrower than hip width, and then sit and sink and hold. So your knees are aiming over your toes, your arms are up, and say you're
Sides of your arms should roughly be the sides by the sides of your ears, and your fingertips are pointing up towards the roof. How are we doing?
Okay, my arms struggle to get up to my ears.
Oh. Oh. They don't need to be touching your ears, I mean in line with. They can be out here, if you've got strong shoulders. And come back up. I've got quite hypermobile like shoulders.
My shoulders are not very...
I've got 2 mobile shouldery joints. Lucy Stevenson's got my funny elbows. You've got funny toes too, huh? They're a bit like...
at the moment.
They're a bit like...
They seem to be there.
Right, same again, that was just to give you a rest. My yoga teacher used to moan about my elbows because they went the wrong way. It's the only one's elbows I've got. Right, sit back into that chair position again. My random waffle was just to give you guys a break, really. So your arms should roughly be in line with your ears. Don't panic. They don't need to be touching them. And maybe if you've got a particularly huge head or particularly bendy arms. Good. You're working your legs and your core, by the way. How are we doing? Are your legs tired?
More my shoulders.
Your shoulders.
From the last 9 minutes.
Okay. Right. Tree. Okay. I'll show you and then you can have a go. You're going to stand on one leg. The other leg is going to turn out to roughly 90 degrees, depending on the flexibility in your hips and pelvis. And you can either have your foot down by your ankle. Don't put it on your knee joint. Or, if you're a little bit more bendy, hello hamstrings. Oh yeah. Okay. You can bring your foot into, oh, I should do it on my good leg. Bring your foot into your thigh, press your foot into your thigh and hold here, or reach your arms up overhead if you can hold the balance there.
Very good.
I was doing something in class this morning, I was wobbling all over the place, it was terrible. Okay, we're going to do both sides, so it doesn't actually matter which side you begin on. I'm going to start on my better side, just so it looks a bit better. So, maybe you want me to tell which one it is. So, either balance with your foot down here by your ankle and your toe can even touch the floor, or you can grab a hold of your foot and you can stick it into your thigh, press that foot into your thigh and bring your hands to prayer position. Is she balanced? Anyone know?
Yes.
If you want to make it a bit harder, push your foot harder into your thigh, or take your socks off, and then reach your hands up and above you if you want to make it a little bit tougher. If that's too much, bring your hands back down, or put your foot back down towards your ankle and balance your toe on the floor. How are we doing? We falling over?
No.
We got a soft landing?
No.
Bring your arms down, and then bring your leg and foot down. If you think you might fall, go near a sofa rather than like the kitchen counter. Okay, so do your other side. Most of you, like me, probably did your good side first. So prepare to wobble a bit on this side. Push your foot into your... Did she fall? Right, I need to concentrate on this side.
That's my bad side now.
Right, push your foot into your thigh. Bring your hands into prayer position. This is my bad side, well I'm concentrating mega hard now. And if you can reach your arms up and overhead. I'm not going to be able to speak much longer because I'm going to have to concentrate on just standing on this side. I might stick my tongue out, that might help. Right, stay there. Sorry, I can't chat, I'm just trying to not fall over. Are we good? Is Anthea still standing?
Yes, I've just got slippy socks that keep slipping down the leg.
Bring your hands down. Take your socks off. Okay.
Oh, that's a good idea. Have a sock, good idea.
What was I going to do next? Oh yes, we'll do a lunge. I might go forwards, I might come a bit of an angle actually, might be easier. Okay, we're going to reposition slightly so you can see. We're going to do a runner's lunge. So you don't need to be a runner, just clarifying. Okay, so all you're going to do is lunge back and drop the knee down towards the floor and just stretch. Then move your foot out wide and bring your hands inside of your foot. You can make it tougher by lifting up and extending behind you, but I get enough of a stretch by leaving my knee on the ground. How are we doing? We all right? Okay. Oh gosh, if you're super bendy, you could bring your elbows on the floor, but yeah, I don't really do that.
No. Lily, yes.
a bit lower, Lil. There we go. Okay, and then carefully swap over. Bring the other foot forward. Again, doesn't matter which one. If you've got gammy knees, your knees are probably shouting at you now. Right, so sit down into it. You should just feel the stretch on the inside of your leg and the hip flexing on the side. Again, you can lift that foot if you wish. How are you doing behind me?
Fine.
Yeah, fine. Whew, dear. I think that was quite warm. Why is me?
It's quite warm.
I think it might just be me. Okay, back you come. Okay, stay down here for a moment. We're going to do a little cobra stretch. So come down onto your fronts, bring your elbows next to your body, and then just lift and push up. So hands are shoulder width apart, elbows are next to the sides of your ribs, and lift up and forwards. So it's like a modified kind of up dog basically. So baby cobra down here. Come back down and lift and press again. Try and come a tiny bit higher if you can. Good. And slowly back down. Okay, right, we're going to try and do bow pose. Am I still on the camera, Jed? I'm still in the shot. Jed, is that all right? Yeah. Okay, so you're going to try and take a hold of each ankle or just the top of your foot. So not on your ankle joint, just the top part of your foot, not your toes, just this arch of your foot. Are we good? Okay, and you're going to try and lift up. If that is too much, do one leg at a time and place the other hand down on the floor to support you. Okay, so press into the hands with your tops of your feet and lift your chest up. Now release. If you're doing one side, swap over and do the other leg. If you're able to do both, we're going to lift into it again. So swap sides or re-lift. So chest is open, push your feet into your hands and just hold. And breathe. Breathe is a key thing here. Good. Nice. And relax. And press up through down dog. And then we're going to do a couple of folds. Okay, jump your feet in. Okay. We're going to do a couple of folds just to stretch the back of our hamstrings. So we're going to do a narrow fold to begin. We did these loads earlier. So just tip from your hips and fold down. If you can put your hands underneath your feet, then go for it. If your hands are nowhere near your feet, then don't worry about it. Keep your legs as straight as you can up here. Good. Let your head release and hang down. And then bend the knees to come back up. We're going to do a wide fold. I'm going to go back sideways again. Goodness me. Not very good at this. Better with real people. Okay. So go wide fold. So feet wider than your hips. And then tip from your hips. And try and bring your hands down to the floor. Again, ideally, if you can't reach, you'd have bricks or blocks to put your hands on. But try and get near to the floor. Or use your fingertips if you're hanging. Don't really want you to be in midair. Find something to put your hands on. Let your head release. There we go. And if you're really bendy, you might have your elbows on the floor. No. Maybe not. Okay. Bend your knees and lift yourself back up carefully. Okay. We're going to come down onto the floor. So come down onto all fours. On your hands and knees with a little bit of cat-cow to stretch off. Yeah, it doesn't matter which way you go. So push the middle of your back up to the ceiling and then arch and curl your back the other way. And just move through that cat and cow position in your own time and your own pace. So push your chest up and forwards and then lift and push back. Okay, come back to the middle. This is a bit more of a Pilates type move now. We're going to be on all fours and we're going to take one arm forwards and the opposite leg back. So I'm going to go forwards with my right arm and back with my left leg and extend and hold. Okay, then I want you to open out wide to the side and come back to the centre. We did this in Pilates earlier actually, and back to the centre. So nice and smooth, open and close. Take the arm out wide and back to the midline. We'll do two more here. Final one. And back in. And just do the same on the other side. So I'm going to take my left arm forwards and my right leg back. Oh gosh, extend and hold, and then open and close. Oof. My right glute's going, hello. So keep moving nice and smoothly. Open that hand out wide and back in. Last two. So here's your final one. Good stuff. Child's pose. This is a nice little pause. So your feet come together, your knees move wide. Push your bottom back down towards your heels and reach your fingertips forwards. I'm going to look up so you can hear me, but try and have your head down and keep wriggling your fingertips forwards at the same time as pushing your bum back. So try and get a stretch from your tailbone to your fingertips. And what's really nice is someone come and gently pushes on your bum, but someone you know, but really. Oh, you can't even know people who know them. Okay. All right. Push yourself back up. And we're going to come round to a seated position. So, extend your legs forwards. Ah, filthy my socks are. What have I been doing? Okay, a bit of shame on my socks. Okay, then my sweaty Betty socks. Okay, toes pointing up towards the roof, legs extended out in front. Reach your arms up and overhead and dive and fold forwards. Again, if you're a lot more bendy than me, your head will be a lot nearer your legs. Okay, go again. Bring your hands up, lift and reach, toes pointing up towards the roof, and then dive down. And we made them a little bit. Keep your feet pointing up as low. Right, and lift up. Okay, I'll show you this one from the front. We're going to bring one foot into the sole, into the side of our thigh. Lift and aim our body over our extended leg and fold forwards. We did these in one of our stretch sessions as well. This is really a yoga move. Janu Shirshasana, is that the right one? I know. I used to do Iyengar yoga, and so my teacher would use all the Sanskrit moves, and half the class would be like, which one's that one? Turn around and reach forward. Adho Mukha Svanasana, is that not down dog? You remember the ones that are lying down, you're like, oh yes. Or quite like Baddha Konasana. Up you come. Okay, right, we're going to do a twist. So, going to have your left leg forwards, reach your right leg over the top, and wrap round and twist towards the bent knee side. So, if you've done the other leg to me, don't worry, just rotate round towards the bent knee side. So, keep the front leg active, so the leg that's extended out straight. Keep your toes pointing up towards the roof, and that leg is active, and you're turning towards and away from that extended leg. Breathe. Good. And release carefully and come around. Other side. So we're doing these much quicker than we really would do in a regular yoga class. So we really hold these postures and poses a lot longer. But we're just getting a bit of a feel for some different types of moves and different types of stretches. And just giving our bodies a bit of a break from jumping up and down, huh? It's good just to slow down just for a few moments and stretch. Good, extend that leg forwards. Right, we're going to do a seated figure 4 stretch. So I'll show you this way and that way. So you're going to cross one foot over, and then you're just going to encourage the knee out to the side. Put your hands behind you to support you, and just feel that stretch. So it doesn't matter which side, just cross one foot over, and then push that knee gently out into the side, and just feel that stretch in your hip and your glutes. Good. Bring your left leg in a little bit closer. Perfect. Good. Oh yeah, how's that? Ooh, eek. Fine. Good. Carefully swap over. Ooh, untwizzle yourself. Bring this foot across. This is really more of a stretch than a yoga move. It's just an interpretation of, just a stretch for your glutes. Good. Yeah, you can kind of have a little wriggle around to find where it feels the most of the stretch. Good. And then release. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees drift out to the side. What's this one's proper name? I can't remember. Again, just depending on the flexibility of your hips and pelvis will determine how low you can get your knees out to the side. So I'm relatively bendy at this one. We're not bad. It's better than it was, huh? Not good? Yeah. I think it's not bad. Okay. Boys, sorry, you'll struggle with this one. Okay, right. Then just sit cross-legged if that feels okay. And then bring your hands onto your backs of your knees with your palms facing up. We are going to lie down in Shavasana for just a minute or two, okay, and that will take us to the end of our half an hour. So we're just coming up to about half an hour just now, and we're just going to lie down and relax just for a couple of minutes. So this is called Shavasana. So I want you to turn yourselves around. This is just a relaxation pose. This is called corpse pose. Or Shavasana is the proper name. So feet just a little bit wide in your hips. Just lie back on your mat and just let your body relax and sink into the mat. The palms are facing up. Slow and control your breath. Let your jaw and muscles in your face relax as well. Let your feet just drift out to the side and let your body feel heavy and relax and sink into the mat. We're just going to stay here for a minute and I'm going to be quiet. So give your fingertips and toes a little wriggle. Then carefully bend your knees up and in. Place your hands on your navel and take a couple of breaths here. You're going to roll over onto your side, preferably your right, away from your heart, to bring you back up to seated. Sit cross-legged or your legs out in front, whatever feels nicest for you. Are we good? We're good. And we're done. Okay. Thank you very much. Hope you stayed with us. That was just over half an hour. We'll see you on Monday, I guess. Bye-bye.